this is just a warning that this video is going to be very vulnerable. I'm going to literally just talk. I don't know who this will resonate with. I don't know who this will help, but I hope it helps someone. So I've been posting some shorts on tips and questions that people need to ask when looking for a potential spouse. I feel like a lot of us in the talking stage, we're so in love, we are blinded by our feelings, by our emotions, that we just don't ask the right questions. And I feel like when we ask the right questions, it saves us a lot of time, and it saves us a lot of heartache. So I am a divorced single mother, and I honestly wish I had asked the right questions when I was getting married. And I feel like I was so blinded, so infatuated by this person that I completely ignored all of the red flags that he was showing. This was my first marriage. We met on the Islamic dating apps like wasnt or whatever, and he seemed like a nice person. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was saying the right things, he was doing the right things, and I want to say, like, within a month of us talking, he was serious. Like, he expressed the interest in getting married. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, to me, that was something good, because I was not looking for someone to waste my time. I wasn't looking for someone to play games with me. I was looking for someone to be honest and straightforward. It was like a long distance thing. He had come down. We had seen each other face to face. And then after that, he met with my father, and we were like, things were moving pretty quickly. Like, within 5 months of us talking and getting to know each other, we were married. In that talking stage, I found out things about him that I didn't know. I found out he was smoking. I found out he was drinking, and all of these things. Like, I found out he was married before, and these things, they were gradual. It wasn't all at once. Like, I gradually found them out over time. You know what I mean? And in my head, I was like, no, this can't be. This is not the same person I met. This must be someone else. And I was trying to find all of these excuses as to why things were changing. And I really and truly believe that I can change him. So whenever he would do things, I would always like make excuses for him. I would be like, okay, you know what? I can help you. Let's do it together. Like, I was ready to be supportive, because that's what marriage is to me. To me, marriage is not giving up. It means being there for your partner through the ups and the downs. So when we got married in July, and then it took a few months for us to live together. So we were doing like long distance. So I would go travel to see him. He would come down here to see me, and things were good, like, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And in that time, I ended up getting pregnant. And honestly, it was the worst pregnancy of my life, only because of the way me and my kid's father was at the time. They say you truly don't know someone until you live with them. And that cannot be further from the truth. When we moved in together, like, I found out so many things. Oh my gosh. Like, I found out so many things that I just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those things, like, left me, like, very broken. Like I was crying. Like there was not one day that went by where I was not crying. Like I'm just gonna be real. I'm just gonna be honest. And it was so bad because I was pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Like I was so stressed. We were just, it was just not a healthy environment. You know what I'm saying? And after a few months, I moved out. Like I truly couldn't do it. Like it was draining my mental health. It was killing me inside, but for the sake of my mental health, I really like I had to leave. Like I really had to. So after I left, I was just going through all of the emotions. I was going through all of the feelings. Mind you, I was pregnant. So my emotions, my feelings were like on cloud 9. You get what I'm saying? And I finally had to sit down and truly think, like, am I going to give this man another chance, or am I just going to like call it quits? So after that, after thinking about that, I decided to give him another chance. And this time, like, I set boundaries, I set rules. Like, you need to do A, B, and C, otherwise, like, I'm out, I'm done, that's it. So I moved back in, and for the most part, like, things were slowly getting better. And things were okay. Like, things were good. Like, we were low-key, like, becoming friends. We were getting to know each other more. And, like, I loved him. You feel me? So it's like, I didn't want to give up what we had, even though it was toxic. But I believed. And there goes that mentality, that idea of thinking that I could change him. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like because he loved me, he would want to change for me. So things were good for like a month or two. I gave birth to a boy. And it was good. Like, it was like, we were good. You know what I'm saying? But then things just took a left turn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was doing everything with the baby. I was just alone. You know what I'm saying? I mentally, physically, emotionally felt alone. And that's when problems started happening again. That's when, you know, I left. That's when I left for good. And that's when I finally decided to file for divorce. Because I was not going to keep on living in this house. I was not going to keep on living with this man who would constantly, day after day, just kill me. Like, literally. Called my best friend, literally crying on the phone, and I'm like, girl, you need to come. You need to come. You need to come. She came, God bless her, like, for real. Like, she came, she helped me pack up the whole house, and I was out. Like, I came back home, I moved back into my parents' house, and I kid you not, like, that first night was the first night in a very long time where I went to sleep without crying. You know what I mean? And already, like, my mental health, like, I was feeling so much better from leaving that toxic environment. Now, the divorce process, honestly, was very hard to do, only because he kept on, like, being difficult. He didn't want to sign the papers. At first, he didn't even want to get a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would, like, be crying, and he would just, I feel like he was just playing games with me. You know what I'm saying? And that just made me angrier and angrier. So I was just like, you know what? Like, bump this. Like, I'm going to go do it my way. I went to the court, filed the papers. And the process, thankfully, did not take, like, too long, because I know, like, a lot of people, like, whenever they go through divorce, it gets messy, it gets ugly, it gets all of these things. But thankfully for me, it was smooth. It was easy. It was nice. Like, within a few months, I was legally divorced. I'm not gonna lie, within that time frame of, you know, me actually filing the paperwork, me doing all these things, me trying to navigate life as a newly divorced single mom was hard. Like, there were times where I would feel myself crying. I would feel myself thinking, oh my gosh, like, who's gonna want me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have kids. Like, who's gonna want a divorced single mom? And those were the thoughts that were going through my mind. Those were the thoughts that were literally killing me inside, because like my self-esteem was low. I was feeling very low about myself. Like, it was honestly like it was a rough few months. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there were times where I would literally be crying. I was so depressed. I really thought I was not gonna get through this, honestly. Like, that time was literally like the hardest time of my life. You know what I mean? And it was just like, I was praying. I was like praying to God. I was like, God, please, like, make this easy for me. Like alleviate my pain, alleviate my stress. Like, because it's not easy. And like, society now, like, you know how they look on divorced single moms? They make you feel like you're not good enough. They make you feel like you're not worth it, and like all of those things. And it was so hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, literally, like, there were thoughts in my head that just kept me up at night. Like, that was honestly one of the most hardest years I've ever had to face. But then, you know, it got better. Things were starting to become easier for me, which I'm very thankful for. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't like for my family, like, I don't know where I would be. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, not everybody has that luxury of moving back in to their parents and having them help you with your kids. Not everyone has the luxury. It was hard. You know, it was very hard being a single mom. Even now, sometimes it's hard. You know, having to like always do everything alone, in the sense of like making sure my kids are like okay. There are times where even now that I will cry or whatever, or like I'll feel very like, what's the word? I'll just feel alone. You know what I'm saying? Because raising kids is hard enough, but raising kids alone, it's just a whole nother level of just, I don't know. Like, honestly, like, shout out to any of you guys that are single parents, moms or dads, because it's not easy. It's not easy to always be there for your kid. You know what I'm saying? And like, I had to change my work schedule where I could only work a certain amount of hours. So I wasn't even making like enough income to support me and my kids. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, I had to put my youngest in daycare. I had to leave work to go pick him up. I had to leave work to drop him off. And it was a lot. Like, it really was. And like, honestly, like, looking back at it now, I don't know how I did it. Like, honestly, I don't know how I did it. And if I could talk to myself a year ago and just tell her everything is gonna be okay, everything is going to work out, don't cry, don't stress, you got this. You know what I mean? To anyone going through a hard time, whether it's divorce, whether it's mental health problems, whether it's, you know, death, a loss in the family, or anything, just know that like, with time, it gets better. You know what I mean? And you are strong. You are amazing. And if nobody tells you that, then I'm here to tell you that. Thank you guys so much for listening to my video. And it's nice to like talk about these things, because I feel like we all need to normalize talking about divorce. We need to normalize the struggles of being a single mom. Like, not every day is rosy. Not every day is going to be a good day. And I feel like social media really covers the truth about what it means to be a single mom, what it means to have mental health issues, what it means to have postpartum, all of these things. Like, at the end of the day, you are not Superman. You are not Superwoman. You are just a regular person. So you need to give yourself grace, and you need to be kind with yourself. And that is something even now I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning how to be kind to myself. I'm learning how to not take everything so hard, because you are going to have good days, but you're also going to have bad days. But don't let those bad days define who you are as a person. Thank you guys so much for the love.